And so there are many different ways. Neshama is the word in Hebrew for the soul. Jesus spoke the Aramaic. He spoke the word nafsha. Everybody take a deep breath. Say the word nafsha. Nafsha. Yeah. In a statement of principles, we have a one-page statement of principles that Ernest Holmes wrote, actually in answer to somebody asked him exactly that question. And he answered the opening part of that question. He says, I believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one absolute, indestructible, self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is beyond all creation and never absorbed by its creation. So we believe in God as God as the living Spirit, the source of all life, and that all things emanate from that one place.
And so this power is not something we have to go in search after. It is something that is right here, close, nearer than our very breath.
God was no longer a masculine substantive form, a moody paternal character, angry and vengeful one moment and merciful and equanimous the next. Practitioners of the science of mind believe instead that God is a mighty force of nature, one that resides internally rather than externally. Ernest Holmes' concept of the Divine Father was not a father at all, in fact, not of form, instead an energetic force that humankind might exercise at any time. This, Holmes portends, is God in action.
God is right here, God is immanent, God is within you, God is with you. So you're not separate from God. It's not like some being sitting up in a cloud somewhere judging you or creating vengeance or all these ideas that people have about God. They're just not true. God is pure love, God is pure light, God is pure joy. God is the very center of your being. God is who you really are.
But if God is not God, but rather a force to be utilized, much like that of thermodynamics or the laws of gravity, why call it God at all?
I think there is a certain impetus to believe for a lot of people. The notion of this parental figure overlooking us and making sure that we're safe and happy is an attractive notion for people. We mammals, we human mammals, are dependent on our parents longer than any other creature in the world. So having someone look over us is, I think, sort of a natural thing. We don't want to die, most of us, ever. The notion of our own end and the notion of our own demise or death is abhorrent to us. And most religions give us a ticket out of that end, whether it's through heaven or nirvana or being reincarnated or whatever. So I think there are some real practical reasons that people believe on an emotional level.
For Reverend Moses, God is not personal, nor is it an interventionist figure demanding sworn allegiance to it. And the science of mind philosophy has little to do with the promise of heaven or hell based on one's personal faith or lack of faith in it.
There is within the heart of some very large population on the planet, meaning 35% of the population on the planet, not a majority by any means, right? But of those people who consider themselves fundamental Christians, and from that point of view believe that you had to have made a deal with this personal guy, Jesus, that he's your king, and unless you have made that prayer in your heart, you will be banished from the kingdom. You don't get to go to the promised land. Well, so let's look at that mathematically. So if we take 35% and we have 10 people, that means that in any given room, 3.5 of them are going to get to the promised land or the kingdom of heaven, and 6.5 of them have been banished. If you really look at these ideas, they don't make any sense. Based on the teachings of Jesus, they make no sense. However, if you grew up in that, you were inculcated in that, your parents believed in that, you celebrate that, you're told that, you participate that way, and your life is working from that way, because you've been living your life that way, you're going to tend to believe that you are absolutely correct.
Instead, Perhaps Moses' God is an incarnation of what so many in our Western culture are coming to believe about divinity, that all religious paths lead to the same ultimate truth. This a la carte approach to religion is increasingly becoming the status quo in American culture.
Since the 16th century, we have seen religion much more in terms of people's freedom to choose. We've seen it in terms of the development of new knowledge, so that the options religiously today are something that a person 300 or 400 years ago just would have no ability to comprehend.
What I believe is, I have discovered a spirit, a God, with whom I am in a full-time relationship, one that I've spent many, many years cultivating so that it became a full-time relationship. And the fact that you have a relationship with your God, it does not trespass on my relationship in any way, shape, or form. So I say, you may believe whatever you want to believe. Now, I would hope that whatever it is you're believing about God is, number one, giving you comfort. Number two, empowering you to live the life you want to live. Number three, making you feel good about being alive. And if all of that's happening in your spiritual practice, hallelujah, my brother, my sister.